And welcome on in, everybody. It is the WyoNation postgame show. I'm your host, Chad Smith, joined here with Mr. Bryan Stevens as Wyoming Basketball defeats Dartmouth 93-80 in the AA. What are your initial thoughts here, Mr. Bryan Stevens?
Well, my first thought is, despite who the broadcast said the player of the game was, the reason we won this game is coaching. 100%. This team's been sick. Sonny said that most of the guards had the flu this week, and the bigs were the only ones healthy. We clearly saw Leland Walker was playing at maybe 60% today, and he still came out and scored 18 points in the second half. This is the kind of game that should make people believe in this team going forward. This is the type of game where we see, when the going gets tough, they're going to buckle down. They're going to play hard, and good things are happening this year. The crowd looked good at the AA. The team looked tired. They looked sick.
They were.
Yeah. They were playing 5-on-8 for most of the game. The officiating was just absolutely terrible. And despite all of it, they pushed through and they won a game against a team that really pushed them to their limits. And I think Wyoming found out how tough they are tonight or this afternoon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think that is the big takeaway, right? You learned a lot about how this team is going to battle adversity and how they adjusted, right? Because they didn't have the energy levels to play at the tempo and pace that they have been, obviously because they had the flu. Now, I didn't know. So first of all, I guess like a lot of you missed the first 10 minutes of the game because of some streaming snafu on the Mountain West side. So who knows what happened there. But I think we roughly got back into the game. I think it was 2020 with like 10 minutes left in the first half, roughly. And as soon as they came in, they said, "Oh, the team's got the flu." And I was like, "What?" And I guess I missed that. But I did find a clip from the presser on Thursday where Sonny was talking about, "Hey, we're going to start 5 centers because we have no one else healthy." And Sonny had the flu too. I mean, he sounds pretty dang rough.
Yeah, you'd have known all this if you'd have looked at my press conference thread on WyoNation.com.
That's true, and I didn't. So yeah, I didn't know you had one. So yeah, so if you're a basketball fan, Bryan is attending the pressers, and apparently he's doing a thread on there. So check that out on WyoNation.com.
There's a thread on the basketball forum that it's called Wicks press conferences, and every single press conference there's notes in there from what Sonny said. I mean, everybody's welcome to go watch the press conference themselves, but if they want just bullet points of what went on, that's a pretty good resource.
Great. See, I didn't even know. So yeah, you got to promote your stuff, promote your own content. That's for sure. And so, yeah, happy to have everybody here today. Let's see if you're watching this on Twitter. Again, you can go on over on YouTube is the best place to get with us. YouTube.com/@WyoNation. So should we bring up this box score and start talking about some stuff there?
Yeah, so a couple things to think about here is, Leland Walker might have got player of the game, but Nosmeyer was the guy that took over. He came in that last 10 minutes of the game. Nas buckled down and was doing just some unbelievable stuff. Shout out to Jared Harris too. Jared Harris came in and really locked down that Dartmouth guy that was just killing us in the first half. Thomas. Jared Harris came out and baited him into some fouls. He was driving the rim hard. Leland Walker was doing well on baiting him into fouls too. But when he came out of the game is when Wyoming really started roaring back. Another thing to mention is Sonny told these guys at about probably the 10-minute mark or that 12-minute timeout, like if they're going to be aggressive like this, they used a lot of spin moves. They used a lot of, they're trying to get fancy dribbling in the paint. We got a ton of steals in that last 10 minutes, just poking the ball out and getting downhill. I know Steve Gozer was really mad that they weren't running. But I'm pretty sure none of these guys could breathe very well by the time the game was over.
No, yeah. I mean, the broadcast, I was like, they were complaining, and I'm like, they got the flu. You're lucky they're even out there.
Yeah.
It's a rough one. So they still did pretty good. I mean, I'm just looking at these specialty stats. I don't know what this means right here. Layups, do you think is that 22 of 33, or is that points? I don't understand the breakdown, but
Just a sec. I've got it open in another tab. Just so everybody knows, I'm on my phone. I got to travel for work tomorrow. My computer is already packed. So specialty stats. Just a sec. I'm trying to get to it.
yeah, it just says layups 22-33.
Yeah, so that's 22 of 33.
Okay.
So considering that most of the time it's our guards taking layups,
that's actually a good percentage. I mean, that's 66%, roughly.
Yeah, that's not bad. We've talked a little bit about this year already, where Wyoming shoots a lot more layups than your average team, but the percentage is a little lower. That's because you've got guys like 6'1" Leland Walker and 6'4" Caden Bennett that are taking the vast majority of the layups.
Yeah.
It's tough, and they're circus shots when those guys get in there, and some of those shots that they're making are insane. Like, there's no way they should be making shots like that. So, all in all, I'm very impressed with how this team is playing this year, and just the resilience we saw this game was silly. That's coaching. That's 100% coaching.
Yeah, and then 54 points in the paint is good too. Here's another thing. I mean, I've seen this before. I don't know what points per possession. Are you on par with what that is? I mean, like, what's a good points per possession?
1 point per possession is what you want to aim for.
Okay, so they're at 1.29. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's great. That means you're scoring 50% or over 50% of the time that you have the ball.
Yeah, I got you. I guess I should have figured that out myself. Yeah, that's pretty easy, huh? So a point per possession. 1.29. So yeah, they're well above 30% above, and I'm guessing average is probably a tad below or maybe a tad above 1. I'll have to look at that up in the future.
It's a little below 1. Your average field goal percentage in the NCAA hovers around 48%, somewhere in there.
That's what I figured. So I thought it'd be just a tad below 1. So well above average. So good to see there.
Yeah, and considering how tired this team was and how close this game was, the fact that we got to 93 points, this team can score at will, and they frankly they beat themselves from the stripe tonight. I was getting pretty worried with a few minutes left there. I think I put something up on Twitter saying they were beating themselves from the stripe, but they came through.
Yeah, 13 and 22 on the game. Not great.
That's bad, but you're talking about a team full of players that have the flu too. They are not at their best, and when you're tired and you're out of air, free throws are the first things that go.
Sure. And then on the other side, we've talked about this in the past, right? Is if the other team's going to shoot in the 90s on free throws and you're giving up a lot of them, I mean, that's free points, right? I mean, so we got outscored by just 7 tonight. On the free throw line, but that could cost you a game.
I'm not a coach, so I can say this. That officiating was bad. It was really, really bad. They were calling ticky-tack fouls on Wyoming. They were letting Dartmouth mug people until that last, 5 minutes in the game.
It kind of settled out. Yeah.
It was awful. It was really bad. Nick Whitmore at one point in the beginning of the game was saying it was, hey, it's 7-1 on fouls. It was before that broadcast came back up. I was listening to Keith and Kevin on the radio, and Whitmore wasn't wrong. This was very one-sided from the officials, and the Mountain West should be frankly embarrassed about how this game was officiated.
Yeah, were they Mountain West? Was it a Mountain West crew? I didn't recognize any of these guys.
Yeah, I don't recognize the names. If they're officiating in Laramie, they're part of the Western Officials Consortium.
Sure, yeah, because I forgot they don't have conferences anymore per se. Officials.
Yeah, it's like the Mountain West, the Pac-12, the WCC, all share officials. I think the WAC might be in there too.
Sure. So I guess good news. I mean, we were down by a point at halftime. The previous 2 times this season we trailed at halftime, we lost. So 1 and 2 in that category. And Sonny keeps his non-conference streak alive. Wyoming has not lost at home to a non-conference opponent in his leadership so far.
He really emphasized that in the press conference this week. That's a big point of pride for the team. That's something they're hanging their hats on. And it's not just the non-conference streak. They want to be perfect at home this year. And, when it comes conference time and you get the Grand Canyons and Colorado States and Utah States and San Diego States that are coming to town, we have got to fill the war. We have to. The crowd was good. Or
don't
the
go to
double
the
A.
war.
Yeah, sorry.
You'll miss the game. I know what you meant.
It's right next door. You can make it if you go to the war.
Yeah, exactly. If you go to the wrong place.
Yeah. You got to fill the double A. We got to get up there. I wasn't able to make it today because I'm about to jump on an airplane. But yeah, Chris McMillan played ball there when it was a sellout almost every night, when we had consistently 10,000 plus there. He wants that back as bad as anybody could possibly want anything. He remembers what it's like to play in that. He remembers how big of an advantage that was. He really wants people to come watch this team play. The team wants it. The coaching staff wants it. But McMillan in particular, that is something that he is really pushing.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, a lot to be happy about. I think how you framed it in your opening statement, Bryan, was perfect. Just that this team, they fought not at 100%, not anything close to 100%. They were 15-point favorites, or 15 and a half last time I saw the line. They won the game by 13 still, even though they faced a lot of adversity. So I think it is a great sign. And like you said, the coaching.
Yeah. When it comes tournament time and they're playing 3 or 4 games in 3 or 4 days, this game is the one that shows us what it's going to be like. They were tired. They weren't at their best. They were beat up, and they still locked down and won this game. So that's a very promising sign as the season goes on.
Mm-hmm. So next up for Wyoming, I do believe is Tuesday night. They'll be hosting South Dakota in the AA and the Yotes.
Yeah, and then next, I think it's next Saturday. They are headed up to Sioux Falls, to the Pentagon, to play South Dakota State in a neutral site game, much like when we played Tennessee in football. When Chad and I were in the band, and it was a neutral site in Nashville instead of Knoxville.
Yeah. True. Yeah. No, and that'll be a good atmosphere. I'm sure some Wyoming fans will make it. But yeah, so those are your 2 games next week, battling the South Dakota schools. And hopefully by then, a couple more of these guys are, rested up and recovered from the flu. So, because Tuesday, they still may be feeling the effects, obviously.
Yeah, I would be kind of surprised if they practiced at all before that next game. I'm pretty sure their pregame walkthrough is going to be their next practice, because these guys need sleep.
Yeah,
they need sleep. They need fluids. They need to get off their feet and just heal up.
True. Yeah, so hopefully they heal up, because on Saturday, right, if there's a bunch of guys still sick, they may not even make the trip, because you don't want to, pack a bunch of sick guys in a bus or a plane or what have you. So,
yeah, for sure. Cool. All right, Chad, I'm going to leave you to it. I got to get packed and get out of here. But go Pokes. I'm glad we were able to watch this one. Thanks, everybody, for joining, and keep following along at WyoNation.com. And a quick point, we announced this on Twitter, but if you haven't seen it yet, all of these post games and our WyoNation roundups and our interviews are on all the major podcast platforms right now. I think they're on Spotify, iHeart, Apple, and Amazon as we speak. And then the aggregators will start picking it up. But if you guys want to listen to what we have to say, 1, we appreciate it. And 2, you'll be able to check it out wherever you find your podcast.
Yeah. And I will post the actual, if you get your podcasts in somewhere that we didn't mention, I will post the RSS feed on Twitter. So you can just plug that into your phone, into the app of your choice, and you'll get all these. So yeah, good stuff.
Rock on. Go Pokes.
All right. Thanks, Bryan. We'll let Bryan hop off, and we will finish up the show here. So yeah, really good to see a couple themes I just wanted to talk about here. That is the split box. Let's go over here. Dartmouth, right? Both teams over 50%, kind of a manic game. Dartmouth was at like, what did I have here? They were at 50%, I guess, from the field in the first half. So they shot a little better in the second. But from three, they were shooting 54%. So they dropped down in that second half, like we've seen for Wyoming. Free throws, again, were a problem on both sides, giving them up and not converting them. So Wyoming, that's the one thing that I think they really have to clean up before conference play. And right, it's hard to say if they're going to be able to do that. Rebounds, out-rebounded Dartmouth. Defensive rebounds about even. Offensive rebounds, look at that. 12-3 in favor of Wyoming. That's a lot of second chance opportunities, obviously, which are great to see. And there it is right there. We only converted 8 points off of those 12. They got 7 off their 3. Well, right, offensive rebounds and second chance aren't mutually exclusive. So, and then how about bench points? Obviously, they had a little different lineup today, but I really wanted to highlight right here, Nasmeyer. He's the real deal. And once he, has a year in this program and strength and conditioning, can get a little stronger. He's obviously got the skills. Kid is only a true freshman. Wasn't highly recruited at all. And you can see already that he is, a legit Mountain West player and is only going to get better. So really good to see there. But yeah, I think we'll wrap it up. A really good win given the circumstances. And we'll see what Wyoming does next week. So the basketball team is a real fun and real good story, and they've got a good coach, obviously. He made the adjustments in the second half, and they got the job done. So we will be back next week, probably after the game on Tuesday against South Dakota. So we'll talk about that, and then we'll talk a little Wyoming football with coaching changes happening, portal happening. So a lot to talk about in the WyoNation universe. And again, remember, Bryan is posting his press conference notes on the forum on WyoNation.com, and we will get a post up soon about the podcasts as well on what networks we're on. So if you can't catch these YouTube videos live, we now have audio versions we're uploading so people can get those when they like. So we appreciate you all. Glad the Pokes won. And so watch yourself some conference championship football tonight, and we'll be back next week with you here on WyoNation. Until then, everybody take care and go Pokes.